Happy holidays!
I'm Greg.
I'm Julie, and we're the Crafty Wineries.
It's actually September, but we were gearing up for the holidays.
It's the end of September, so, the Christmas stuff's already out.
I think they started that 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So this is a recipe that we came up with that basically tastes like the apple cider that you drank at Christmas when you were a kid.
The hot
But
apple cider.
it's got alcohol in it.
And it's cold and carbonated.
And it's cold and carbonated.
But yes, the flavor is identical.
It's very good. Takes a little bit of patience because it's all infused. We don't add any flavors to it. So this takes our basic apple cider recipe, and that one leaves off with a pH of where it should be, and the ABV is known, and it's not very flavorful because there are a lot of options that you can take to flavor it. So in this case, we want to add one 12-ounce container of apple juice frozen concentrate of your choice. It doesn't have to be great value. They're all going to be just about the same. That's going to do two things. It's going to sweeten it, and it's going to
give it flavor.
Give it more apple flavor. And in this case, we want that because we're not adding a syrup to give it flavor or sweetness. So you do need to make sure that you've added the potassium sorbate that we talked about in the base hard apple cider recipe video, because otherwise the sugar that's in this could start fermenting. Usually you can get away with not spilling it if you crush the can a little bit. Yeah, like that.
I was wondering.
There was intentionally a little extra headroom. This batch came out of a 6-gallon batch of apple cider. So we left a little bit of headroom so that there was going to be room for this juice. If you did a 1-gallon batch, you might have to dispose of a little bit to fit the concentrate in, and that's a shame, but you can drink it. It's just not going to be the most flavorful.
Put it to the side and drink it.
So now this has got the concentrate in it. There's not a whole lot of point in stirring it because it kind of mixed in when I poured it in, and we're going to have plenty of chances to stir it again. But
okay, well, I brought the spoon out for nothing.
You brought the spoon out. So.
I always forget the spoon, and this time I didn't forget it, and you say we don't need it.
I hear claw, claw, claw behind us. What's going on back there?
Pippin is snooping. She is looking for something. I don't know what.
This is the first filming of the day, so she's got to check out everything that's changed since the last filming. Okay.
So, this is really pretty simple. We're going to use this infuser that if you've watched any of our other recipe videos like the chocolate merlot and other things that we use this for, it works really well.
You don't have to have it. It just makes it a little bit easier to get the juice out when we rack this without having
all the stuff floating in it
or stuck at the bottom.
So what we used for this recipe is 3 full cinnamon sticks, and they're too tall for this container, so we have to break them in half. Well, kind of.
There's a little more surface area anyway.
Yeah. And I just happened exactly 3. How lucky was that? And we put in 10 cloves, which is a little bit harder to see if I can count these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Need 2 more.
The corgis almost got one.
I don't think they'd like it. They're pretty strong.
I bet you they'd still eat it.
Probably. And that's it. So we've got our cinnamon and our cloves in here. Just going to screw this on. Tight.
The fishing bobber makes it easy to get the infuser back out. So both of these will be linked in the description below. But again, you don't need to use these. You can just put them in there. But you might want to do something to make them sink, because if they float on the top, they're not going to get as much flavoring into the cider as you might want. Let's go in top first. Glug, glug, glug.
It works. Works either way. Guess you could use some cheesecloth and put those in it if you didn't have an infuser or a little brewer's bag.
So we will let this sit for up to 2 weeks, but you can check it in 9, 10 days just to see if it has the taste. If you do it in an infuser, you'll want to bob the infuser up and down so that the flavors that are inside the infuser get out into the cider
Yeah.
before you taste it. If you don't do that, you'll want to stir it. This is going to settle during that 2 weeks, so there'll end up being sediment. So you can decide if you want to rack off that before you taste it, or you can let it get mixed up and then cold crash, which is probably what we will do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to probably want to carbonate it. You
Yes.
might like it the way that it is without it being carbonated, and if that's fine, enjoy it. But if you're going to carbonate it, there are 2 ways you can do that. We have a video for each. The first way is the way that we will end up doing it in this case, and that's force carbonating it. And that just forces CO2 into it. It takes basically 24 hours, and this will be ready to go. And it doesn't really have any other qualifications.
And the second way is the slow way, the natural carbonation in the bottle.
Carbonation for patient people.
And that takes more like 3 weeks. So.
And we have a video on that you can watch.
Yep.
But again, you might like it without. You might like it still.
Well, hot apple cider isn't carbonated, so.
It's true. And there's nothing to say you couldn't heat this up.
Oh yeah, you could
drink it. If you heat it up too much, you'll lose a little alcohol possibly. But this
just make sure you keep the kids away from it.
Yeah.
Have two separate ciders.
Don't mistake this for the ones the kids can drink. But this is nice and simple. It's a great one for the holidays. That's why we're putting this out, to give you time to try it before the holidays.
And normally we might have some of this in stock to actually test it right now, but it was so good that it disappeared like that.
Well, we only did a half gallon of it the last time, so we only ended up with a couple of bottles.
I think Tristan drank it all.
Yeah, Tristan's a hog.
But it's really good, so hope you try it.
So we're going to let this sit, again, up to 2 weeks until it has the flavor levels that we like.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will come back and try it out. So our note said that we were supposed to taste this on the 1st of October, and today is the 4th of October.
We're a little late.
So we're a little late.
Life got in the way.
And we needed to be set up on camera, So first thing I want to do is try to get all of the flavor that I can out of this infuser, which also is going to
smell it.
Stir up some of the sediment that's in here. But that's fine, because the very next thing that we're going to do once we know the flavor is good is we're going to stick this in our near freezing refrigerator to cold crash, which means that all the sediment that's in this, suspended in this, will go to the bottom, with help from the other clearing agents that we've already put in here. Most of the juice is out of the infuser, and that should have taken most of the flavor out too. So just dunk it a few times, and if you want, you can let this sit in a bowl for a little while and let all of the juices come out if you put it on its side. But since we had this in there too long, I'm afraid it might be overdone. So
I can smell it.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It smells good.
So because I didn't want to put this down on something that wasn't sanitized, she got me something that is sanitized in case we need to put it back in there. But again, I
don't think we will.
Everything is sanitized, so except the towel, technically, but it just came out of the dryer.
Out of the dryer. It's pretty sanitary.
So I'm just making sure this is mixed up pretty well before we taste it. I don't want the taste to change after we say it's good. We just did our pumpkin pie cider tasting a second ago, so this is gonna be different.
It smells amazing. It smells like
I can smell what's in there.
Smells like the hot apple cider that you heat up on the stove.
That's what we want.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Does it have everything you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think it needs longer?
Do you think it needs longer?
I don't think it would hurt. But really? I think it's okay, probably. And part of it is probably because I just got done drinking
huckleberry
pumpkin pie and these are huckleberry ciders.
Yeah, and they're a little tart.
Yeah. No, it's probably okay. I mean, so we're comparing this to the prior batch of this, and I'm thinking it was stronger than this is.
Really? Well, I don't know. I mean, let's taste a little bit more.
When all else fails.
Second taste.
Try more. And the other option here is to look inside our infuser and make sure there's no sediment that is going to end up being flavor still sitting in there. And then we can make the decision whether or not we want to keep it sitting in there longer or carbonate it. And you can do the same thing, even if we say it could use a little bit more. Yeah, there is some.
I see it dripping out a little bit.
So there is flavor still in here. That is going to be very concentrated, whatever it is, cinnamon or cloves. And then I will stir and we'll give it another shot. We did have this in there longer than the prior batch, so in theory it should have been as much or more if everything else was equal, but we don't know that everything else was equal. I'm going to be a little more aggressive and get some of that stuff that's at the bottom too. This will be a little hazy for our tasting, but then again, after we cold crash it, it'll be clear again.
Swirl it like wine. However, I'm not going to spit it out.
Good. Yeah, there's more flavor.
I think it's good. I think it's ready to carbonate.
I think it's good too. What I would say, because I'm not going to be carbonating it tonight, it's not going to hurt it to put the infuser back in it and let it sit until we carbonate it. So it's good. It tastes like the cider that you had when you were a kid.
Except it's not hot.
Except it's not hot.
And it has alcohol in it.
Yeah, don't give it to your kids. I think we've said that a few times, but
yeah.
But I don't think it'd hurt it to have a little bit more. But other than that, it is real good. It tastes like it's supposed to. Just could be a little bit stronger flavor.
Okay, well, let's put it back in for a little bit before we carbonate it.
It'll probably be 2 or 3 days before I get to carbonate this. So basically, it's going to end up with another 2-3 days of sitting in there on the cinnamon. So we'll be back after we've carbonated it.
All right, we are back with our finished product. It's been carbonated. It's sat for 3 weeks. A little over 2 weeks. And we have not tasted this yet. You girls being nice. You playing nice.
Nice and bubbly.
It is. We have tasted other batches of this, but we haven't tasted this particular one.
This one.
So I expect it to be good. Smells just like that hot apple cider.
I like the color of it. It looks like whiskey.
Does look like whiskey. Carbonated whiskey.
Not a whiskey drinker, but
It tastes like hot apple cider if it was cold and fizzy. It's good. It's got good flavor.
the smell is amazing.
Yeah. Kind of brings back memories of hot apple cider boiling on the stove.
Yeah, this is great.
It's really good. I like it a lot.
It's not too much flavor. You don't feel like you don't want to drink much of it because it's got so much going on. It's just enough, in my opinion. So, yeah, really good.
Yeah. Success.
And this is pretty easy to make. So the hardest
really
part
easy.
probably is the carbonation, especially if you're going to try to naturally carbonate it. But
That's not even
that's
hard.
not hard.
Just
It's
takes a little longer.
Takes patience, and
Yeah.
you know how we are with patience.
Oh, mostly him. Yeah, so I call this a success.
Yep, very good. We'll have this out so that you have time to make it before Christmas. We're getting pretty close to Thanksgiving right now. We're about a month away, so
Ugh.
you'll have to bear with us as we get it edited, but it'll be out before Christmas.
We are a month away from Thanksgiving. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Wow. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it fun. Try the recipe and leave comments and let us know how it turned out and how you felt about it. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, cheers.